Well, let's get more on this. Joining me now from Washington is Jack Hamilton, energy and security expert for West Africa from INPEC. Good evening to you. It appears that the group Boko Haram may have been responsible for the kidnap of these men. What do we know of this group?
Well, at the moment the assumption is that it's Boko Haram, but there's no confirmation of that. What we know is that the two men were abducted last year in May, and then we had the release of the video later on in the year in November. From the video, it's difficult to detect. I mean, some people have said the video shows signs of Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and some people think that AQIM, as they're abbreviated to, are connected to Boko Haram. But the video itself wasn't released through AQIM's normal measure, through Al-Andalus. It was released through a different organisation. It was released into Côte d'Ivoire, which makes me think, and many other intelligence experts are suggesting, that it might not be Boko Haram, it might not be AQIM, but it might be opportunists using this to try and make some money out of the hostages.
Well, you mentioned money. Apparently there was money found at the site where these men were taken from. Would that not suggest that they were taken for political reasons rather than financial?
The question is what was demanded, and no demands have been released yet.
And give us an idea of to what extent this is symbolic of a deteriorating security situation in this part of the world. Just how worrying would you say a rise in militancy is in Nigeria?
It's very worrying at the moment, and especially from Boko Haram. Boko Haram, as mentioned before, have grown hugely in the last 6 to 8 months. It started really with the huge terror attacks on the UN in Abuja, and the campaigns spread since that across northern Nigeria, especially in Maiduguri and in Kano and in Kaduna. And it's very worrying that it spread to the northeast as well. And if this group are affiliated to Boko Haram and they've started taking hostages, this shows a terrifying new direction in Boko Haram's tactics.
And a number of foreign companies operate in Nigeria, of course. It's a big oil producer. These men, we understand, work for a construction firm. Do you think that the international community are likely to try and help Nigeria get this situation under control?
It's interesting that it's been revealed that Britain was involved in this rescue effort. It's the first sign that international organisations, international states are willing to get involved. After there was no intervention after the UN attacks, I would be surprised if this was to start a huge new movement of support for Nigeria. I think that the general impetus right now is for the Nigerian security forces to try and take care of it themselves, and that's what they're trying to put forward, that Nigeria can take care of their own problems.
Jack Hamilton, very interesting to get your views. Thanks very much indeed for joining us there live from Washington. Let's cross to Westminster now and get the latest.